The jungle was quiet in a way that felt heavy, not peaceful. Tall trees stood like silent witnesses, their branches tangled together as if they were guarding secrets no one dared to speak aloud. Deep inside this jungle, far away from the noise of cities and the comfort of people, stood an old wooden house. Time had eaten away at its walls. The roof sagged slightly, and the paint had long ago faded into a dull, lifeless color. Yet this house was home. Inside lived an old woman named Mara. Mara's back was bent from years of labor and loneliness. Her hair, once black and full, was now thin and white, tied loosely behind her head. Wrinkles covered her face like lines drawn by sorrow and survival. Her hands trembled when she worked, but she never complained. Life had taught her that complaining did not change fate. She was alone in the world. No husband, no children of her own, no family to visit her or call her name. The jungle had become her companion, and silence had become her language. Every morning, she woke before the sun rose, wrapped herself in an old shawl, and stepped outside to greet another day that looked exactly like the one before. But there was one person who gave meaning to her days, a young boy named Evan. Evan had come into her life years ago, almost like a gift from fate. He was just a child when she found him thin, frightened, and alone near the edge of the forest. He had nowhere to go, and no one waiting for him. Mara did not ask many questions. She only saw a hungry child, and felt her heart ache in a way it had not in decades. She took him in. From that day on, Mara raised Evan as if he were her own son. She cooked for him, worried about him, scolded him when he was careless, and prayed for him every night before sleeping. Evan grew up in that jungle house, surrounded by trees instead of streets, birds instead of people. To Mara, Evan was her entire world. To Evan, Mara was safety but not home. As Evan grew older, the jungle began to feel smaller. The silence that comforted Mara suffocated him. He wanted more noise, more people, more life. He would stand at the edge of the forest and stare at the distant road that led to the city, wondering what waited for him beyond the trees. Mara noticed the change. She saw it in the way Evan's eyes no longer lingered on the fire at night. She heard it in the way he spoke about the world outside, about cars, lights, and people his age. Sometimes he would sit quietly, lost in thoughts he never shared with her. "Do you ever miss the city?" Evan asked one evening, his voice soft but restless. Mara paused, her hands still working on an old piece of cloth. "I have never known the city," she replied. "This is all I know." Evan nodded, but his heart was already far away. Despite her age, Mara worked hard every day. She gathered firewood, cooked simple meals, and kept the house together with whatever strength she had left. She did it for Evan. Watching him eat filled her with a happiness that briefly erased her loneliness. At night, when the wind howled through the trees, Mara would sit near Evan and tell him stories of kindness, of loyalty, of never abandoning those who stood by you when you had nothing. "People are all we have in this world," she would say. "When someone loves you, you protect them. You don't leave them behind." Evan listened, but his mind was already drifting toward a different life. He didn't know it yet, but destiny was already moving toward them. And soon, someone new would enter his life, someone who would change everything. It was a late afternoon when he went beyond the usual paths of the jungle, carrying firewood on his back. The sun filtered through the trees, painting the ground in broken shades of gold. He heard a sound that didn't belong, laughter. Light, careless laughter. It startled him. No one ever laughed in the jungle. He followed the sound and reached the dirt road that connected the forest to the outside world. That was where he saw her. She stood beside a small vehicle that had stopped, frustration written across her face. Her clothes were clean, modern, and out of place among the dust and trees. Her hair fell freely around her shoulders, and her eyes carried curiosity rather than fear. Her name was Lena. "Do you know where we are?" she asked when she saw Evan. Her voice was confident, yet warm. Evan hesitated. He wasn't used to speaking with strangers, especially someone like her. "Near the forest," he said simply. She smiled, amused by his answer. "I mean, is there a town nearby?" Evan shook his head. "The city is far." That should have been the end of it. But Lena laughed again, brushing dust from her shoes, and started asking questions about the jungle, about the house hidden among the trees, about Evan himself. No one had ever asked Evan about his life before. Lena was visiting the area with friends, searching for something different, something adventurous. To her, the jungle was exciting, mysterious. To Evan, it was a cage. Over the next few days, she returned. Each time, Evan felt something new growing inside him, something confusing and powerful. Lena spoke about the city as if it were alive. She talked about crowded streets, bright lights, endless opportunities, and people who followed their dreams instead of hiding from them. "You're wasting your life out here," she said one day, sitting on a fallen log. "You're young, you could be anything." Those words stayed with him. When Evan finally told Mara about Lena, the old woman listened quietly. Her hands trembled slightly as she stirred the pot over the fire. "People from the city don't understand this place," Mara said carefully. "They come, they leave, that's their way." Evan didn't respond. He didn't want to hear doubt, he wanted hope. Soon, Lena met Mara. Mara saw everything the moment she looked into Lena's eyes. The impatience, the hunger for more, the certainty that this life was temporary. The old woman felt fear settle deep in her chest. Still, she welcomed Lena politely, offering her food and a place to rest. Lena was kind, but her kindness was light. It did not carry weight or responsibility. She spoke to Mara with respect, but her attention always returned to Evan. "You belong in the city," Lena told him again one evening. "Come with me. I can help you start over." That night, Evan lay awake listening to Mara's slow breathing from the other side of the room. He remembered all the years she had cared for him. He remembered her stories about loyalty and love. But his heart was louder than his memories. He began to imagine a life where he was free, admired, and young, far away from an old house, an old woman, and a future that felt already written. Mara noticed Evan pulling away. He spent less time with her, more time near the road. His laughter changed. His silence grew heavier. Sometimes she watched him from the doorway, wondering when exactly she had begun to lose him. She wanted to ask him to stay, but love made her silent. Deep down, Mara knew what was coming, and it terrified her.